shadows creep, stories rise as the campfire reaps. Jonathan voice a haunting thrill, with every tale he bends on will. Echoes whisper, the night draws near. By the firelight, our fears collide. The Carolina storyteller, our guide. Through the spooky, the feathering fight. Fables of darkness igniting the night. Of the night.
Hey guys, welcome to the yet unnamed live version of the Carolina Storyteller. I'm Jonathan Phoenix, your host. This is the very first live episode that we're going to be doing, and it's live on Facebook today. So allow me to start introducing our guests for today. First up, we have voice actor extraordinaire, one of the hosts of Men Behind the Curtain, a good friend of mine. He plays the I don't want to say villainous, but definitely not a good guy. Leslie Chuckles Simon in the show Valmont, the Black Raven Chronicles, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. E.C. Hart.
How's it
Eli,
going,
how you
y'all?
doing?
I'm doing good. About you, man?
I'm doing great. Glad to have you on here. Next up, we have Eli's partner from Men Behind the Curtain, and also in the Valmont show. What can I say? I've got a lot of cast members that I can convince to come on and do stuff for me. Mr. David Whitney. He's going to be playing none other than Stephen Klein, father of Sarah Klein in the show. David, how we doing?
Hey, how's it going? I'm doing good over here.
Oh man, that's great to hear. And last but definitely not least, we have, and I think you guys will agree with me, the voice of the most horrible lawyer I have ever had the pleasure of hearing. It's just a despicable character. Don't you guys agree?
I mean, being a lawyer, I think that's a given.
I just know if I ever need defense counsel, I know who to turn to.
Yeah, definitely the best defense counsel in the world. And she's also voicing none other than Lucifer herself, Mrs. Edel Valentine.
Hello.
Edel, thanks for joining us. How you doing today?
Oh, not bad at all.
All right. Well, guys, I want to thank you guys for being here today. This is my inaugural episode, and I'm not exactly sure how it's going to go, but we're going to work with it and see how well I can do. So the first thing on the agenda, I guess, we'll get it out the way is let's talk about Valmont. It's out now on Patreon. How do you guys feel about the first episode?
I'm happy with it. I think that while it doesn't give you a whole lot of details yet, it's doing a lot of setting the tone. It's doing a little bit of world building.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it's great. I loved what was done. We have great sound people. Did a phenomenal job. But I agree with EC that it helps set up a tone and specific characters that listeners are going to be drawn to and either drawn to or turned off at the same time. But it's definitely developing and getting those characters out at the forefront.
And not just that, it's also introducing like some of the most important characters, namely the main character, and like getting the audience to know who he is and what he's about.
Yeah, so that was one of the main goals for that first episode, was to introduce a Frigg in a big way, because he is, as I'm writing this thing, he is going to be the main character for this season. He's the driving force behind it. And so that's why the first episode focuses really on really more on around his story, either things involving or directly to him. And there's only kind of one off shot with Cain and Lucifer. I mean, Cain and the senator.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Kenzie.
had to remember
Yeah.
who it was. Evil Mr. Rogers. And the listeners will get that when they finally hear it.
It is definitely an evil Mr. Rogers. He does so good with that.
Oh, I
He
love
does. He does, and I'll say because for one of the table reads, I had to try to fill in for him. I tried to approximate that voice. Couldn't do it. Could not do it.
No, we'll have Josh on the show at some point in time, and we will ask him how in the world did he actually come up with that voice, because I literally gave him someone to try to approximate, and not only did he nail that, but then he took it like an 11. To the point that whenever our voice director actually hears it, she's always like, "If you ever do that voice around me, I'm going to punch you."
He does a good job of making that character very easy to hate.
Oh yes, and I think the audience is gonna. I'm wondering if they're gonna hate him from episode 1, or if it's gonna take like an episode or two. I'm waiting to see that.
I don't remember how much. I don't remember how much he does in episode 1, so I really can't say. They're gonna though. I will say that.
Oh yeah.
Well, he has Senator in front of the full name, so I mean, there's a start.
Yeah, that's true. Also, one thing I'll point out, just because we were talking about this, for the folks who are on Patreon, one little fun snippet is I actually did record basically like one of the characters that I play, not my main character, but the voice I workshop it a little bit, and you can actually see how I got from like 1, 2, 3, 4 like different steps. It's kind of a fun little clip if y'all want to check that out.
Yeah, we do have that up on Patreon, and that is actually, your development of Frank's voice was actually really awesome.
It was fun.
He is going to be a great character when we get him introduced as well. What episode are you guys most looking forward to coming up this season? We've done the table read now for episode 5. We've got a lot. So with your characters, which episode are you most looking forward to?
Easily episode 8, because when you first sent me that scene before you finished the episode, I could not wait to record for that episode. That was one with my cousin.
Yeah, I knew you would like that scene.
Loved that one. But Edel does make a good point. So the one that we just did 2 days ago on the table read, the closing scene. Actually, it wasn't even the close. I think there was one scene afterwards. But
yeah.
No spoilers, but that was fun. That was really, really fun.
Actually, that clip is now up on TikTok. You can go to you can go to Witch Queen Jacqueline's TikTok, or to my TikTok, Jonathan Phoenix, or the Carolina Storyteller, and you can actually see that clip. And what that clip is that is the 5 Kings of Hell having a conversation about their plans, and she is just staring at the computer screen like a kid seeing, like me when I saw Transformers the movie for the first time, and Optimus was driving through during the touch. Just
she's so happy. Yeah, you could like see her eyes light up. Like I love these people. Look at them go.
If I drop a link here in the comments, oh wait, no, never mind. I can't see it. Okay, never mind.
You're so used to being on the other side of things.
Yeah, I can drop, if you can, I believe you should be able to drop the link in the comments because it's not the private chat.
I'll have to send it to you through the private chat, and then you can just copy paste it.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, it actually popped up on the bottom.
It does, but that's the private chat, so we can see it.
No, that's not the private chat. That was actually the comment chat from Facebook.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now I've got your link on the private chat, and I will be copying that.
Well, I can safely say that there are 2 episodes that I'm most looking forward to, and yes, one of them is episode 5. Not just because of the scene with the Demon Kings, but also because I get to have a really like good heartfelt scene with Corey, who's playing Frey. I love that scene. Honestly, I think it's a great scene of like. I won't give any spoilers, but I think I like that, and I'm also extremely excited for the season finale
Yeah.
because
The season finale is definitely going to be. We have some interesting things coming up in the finale, and I can't wait for you guys or the fans to get to experience that. Like I said, we're just at episode 1. Episode 1 released on Patreon yesterday at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's going to be live everywhere. I mean, everywhere on December 1st at 6 o'clock in the morning. It's going to be popping up from Podbean, streaming out to the entire world. And I think I speak for all of us when I say I can't be more excited for it. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
excited and nervous.
All right. Now,
Oh no. One thing I was going to add, me and David have talked about this just kind of off camera and everything. But one thing I do want other people to know is you've actually been really good to work with. Like, even though this is your story, these are your characters and everything, you've been a very collaborative author. So when we have something to add, you've been really good as far as, does it work, us adding it and things like that. So I want to give you that as a compliment.
well, thanks. I think that this show is a collaboration. I might be writing it and creating it, but you guys are giving me the talent to put it on, and so working with you guys, I'm the type of person that I could take criticism, and I can use that. I can take criticism. I can take ideas. I can take suggestions, and I believe that I can use that to improve my work. I don't take criticism as, oh, they don't like me. I take criticism as, okay, this is what I need to fix. Let me work on this. Let me do this. Let me do that. And that's, I think, why we've been able to collaborate so well, is because if you come to me and you say, hey, I don't think this works as well as this, I'm going to look at you and go, let's try that and let's see what happens. And that's how we've been able to collaborate and create such a great show so far. And I'm really, really going to be excited for the rest of the show going forward. If you're looking at the bottom of the screen right now, you can see December 1st, all podcast platforms, Valmont and the Black Raven Chronicles. Anything else to add on Valmont before we move on, guys?
I did want to just slightly add on to that of what EC said, that like you have given us the lines, you've given us the characters, but you've also very expressly told us, like, make these characters your own, breathe your own like creativity and life into these characters, and I think that's what a lot of us have done.
Yeah. And one other thing I was going to chime in with, since we're talking about how you've been pretty collaborative and everything, one thing me and David have talked about, because I'm more of a crime boss, where he's actually a cop, a sergeant, I believe. We've mentioned this to you. I said it to you. We've talked about this. I've mentioned it to you on the Discord. For season 2, at some point, I would love for me and him to get a scene much like Pacino and De Niro in Heat. That would be a really good scene.
So I'm not gonna try and give any spoilers out. But have you ever seen the old Wile E. Coyote cartoon where he's being chased by Sam the dog? But it's the cartoon where they both live next to each other. They drive to work at the same place.
Oh yeah.
They clock in, and they're like best friends until the whistle blows. And I've been trying to figure out how to write that as an interaction for, because I've said that we're going to have stretch goals for the Patreon. I'm trying to figure out how to write that as a stretch goal for the Patreon between Sergeant Klein and Frank.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Where it turns out that Sergeant Klein lives right next to Frank. And so they wake up every morning, they say hey to each other, they shake hands, they talk, they get in the cars, they go to work, and as soon as work starts, it's on.
That's so funny.
Oh,
I
love
I
it.
actually love that idea. And I know me and you have also talked about a little subplot for Frank, but that's probably not gonna. We wouldn't pull the trigger on that till like season 3, so I'm not even gonna get into
Yeah.
that right now.
Yeah, I'm writing season 2 right now. Let's not get into season 3 yet, okay? I just finished season 2, episode 1 last night.
Getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, wait till you hear his ideas for season 8.
Oh boy, season 8. Yeah, I'm not ready for season 8. But let's get through season 1 first, season 2, and then we'll worry about that one. But yes, that is on the list of things that are going to happen. So moving on from Valmont, we're all very excited about it. So we wanted to start out talking about that. This show is a version of the Carolina Storyteller, but it's not the Carolina Storyteller. So we do talk about things that are paranormal, creepy, and spooky. You guys are all into the paranormal, creepy, and spooky, right?
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
You know, ghosts, goblins, and the such. So the first thing I want to talk about is I don't know if you've been following the news. I live in South Carolina. I live just north of Beaufort, South Carolina. Are you guys familiar with where that is?
Not entirely. I know that I've listened to some of the earlier episodes on your podcast, and you mentioned like with Gullah Geechee Island, all that good stuff. Or no, I'm sorry, Gullah Island, and you mentioned Gullah Geechee as the culture. I actually know somebody from that area, so that did kind of perk my ears up a little bit. And I really like some of the local legends around there. Especially I think the Gray Man, I believe that was a good one.
The Gray Man's actually from where I grew up. It's a little, well, actually, technically it covers the whole coast, but it's from Pawleys Island. But today we're talking about Beaufort, which is actually right next to the Marine Corps Air Station here in South Carolina, and more importantly, Paris Island. And the reason I point this out is because Paris Island is a unique island on the coast of the United States of America, in the fact that it has okay, everybody that has been there, and granted, I've never actually been to Paris Island. Okay, I have an uncle who was a Marine. I lost a brother who was a Marine. My best friend was a Marine. I work with a whole bunch of Marines. I've never been to Paris Island. Well, everybody else was joining the Marines. I was joining the fire department. Okay, so I did not get to have this experience, but everybody has told me Paris Island is akin to hell. Um, but there are other islands down in the Beaufort area. And there are, of course, research labs down there. And one of these research labs just happened to have a whole bunch of monkeys. And just recently, 43 of these monkeys escaped the research lab. Now, they have caught some of them, but these monkeys have escaped the research lab and they're literally sitting outside the lab, kind of looking at the lab workers staring in, like, what up? You can't eat this no more, Mr. White Man. What up? I mean, these guys just are not, and they're hollering at the monkeys inside like they're playing in something. This is just crazy. It's insane. And granted, they've captured some of them, but the rest of them, it's not like they're running far. It's like they're waiting or planning. And my whole thing ever since then is this is how the Planet of the Apes starts. This is the start of the Planet of the Apes. I don't know if anybody agrees with me on this.
That's literally what I was thinking of, and I was going to say that because I remember that on Rise of the Planet of the Apes, with the one with James Franco and Tom Felton was the dude at the Habitat or whatever it was. I don't remember. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
I'm just saying,
monkeys taking over.
The minute I heard it, my mind went straight to Jay from Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back, and immediately I went, in this world gone mad, we won't spank the monkey will spank us. Because this could be happening. This could be it, guys. We could be on the edge of the Planet of the Ape Apocalypse. So, I come to ask you, my friends, my colleagues, what is your ape apocalypse plan? Everybody has a zombie apocalypse plan. Do you have an ape apocalypse plan?
Bananas. A lot of bananas.
I think it's about time to start thinking about that, maybe.
Well,
Uh,
I do have one thing that might work for some pretty good self-defense. This, but if they get close enough for me to use those, I might already be screwed.
Yeah, I mean,
Depending
come on,
on the
these
type
are
of
apes.
primate.
But no, I don't have a plan. Hopefully, I'm not even going to be able to run. Hopefully, before this happens, my knee will heal, because if I'm still wearing a knee brace when that happens, I'm not getting far.
Same. I'm still recovering from my surgery, so I'm like, I think it's time to start getting stronger.
Yeah, I tweaked my knee like literally just a week ago, so this is like super
Ooh.
fresh for me.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, my plan is to throw EC down and just run.
Hold
you
up, so
don't
is it going
have
to be
to-
like?
You don't
So
have
is it
to
like
outrun the
Shane
monkeys.
and-
You just have to outrun the person next to you.
Yes, and
So it's
he's the
gonna be
person
like-
next to me.
So it's going to be like Shane and the one dude when they were getting the medicine on The Walking Dead.
Yes.
So
That's
so
fair.
see, I feel like you guys are looking at it like these are bears. But these are higher primates, and they are intelligent. So I'm thinking maybe it's time to wheel and deal. Like that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking maybe I need to be like, hey, sup guys? Let me hook you up with some stuff. Hold up, you guys ever seen YouTube? Come here, let me set you up on Facebook right now.
Let me show you.
I'm gonna
some
sign
funny
you
stuff.
all into Facebook. Look at
I
this
mean,
meme with
hey,
this cat.
You've got a hook. They can just be coming at you. Hey, let me tell you a story. You've already got a hook.
Yes, that's it. I'm gonna throw that hook in there. Let me tell you a story real quick. You see this? You see the set of woods over here? Let me tell you about these woods. See this tree right here? Let me tell you about this tree. See, I could be living like a fat rat, as I'm sitting there, enjoying being just the fat rat that tells stories all the time. But see, that's my ape apocalypse plan. But like, am I the only one that sees this as a very real threat? Because everybody else is like, oh, it's just this and that. The monkeys are fine, and I'm like, no, 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 no. This is a very real threat.
So if we're gonna actually really look and analyze it, it kind of depends. Because mind you, with Planet of the Apes, the reason why that got to be a problem is that Caesar was able to get other apes who had not been experimented on. He was able to make them smart. So in the case with these, can they? I don't want to say infect, because that's not really what it is, but would they be able to bring others up to their level? Because if they can, now we have a problem.
A very real and possible problem.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, but they're already smart as it is. I mean, probably smarter than a majority of humans I've come across just this week. So, I mean,
That's a very low
No
bar.
comment. That bar is in the dirt at this point.
yeah. I mean, if if they can develop a common language to communicate with each other, human race is in for it.
We already teach them sign language.
Case in point.
I mean, look at it. I mean, every giant monkey movie that is out there, Rampage, King Kong, what's another good one?
Congo.
Congo, yeah, Congo. They all utilize sign language. All of them. They're taught sign language. They can communicate with us, and we know for a fact that regardless of the species, from the smallest monkey out there to the biggest primate out there, they have the capacity to learn and to communicate. Just because they don't speak English doesn't mean they can't understand these things. They're just new concepts for them. So it'd be the same thing as taking someone from the 1500s and sitting them in front of a computer. Eventually, they're going to figure it out, and that's the big takeaway from the Planet of the Apes movies is that, like, hey, these guys, it could get, interesting over time. So,
That's
yeah,
the word
I'm
for it, I
living,
think.
I'm living right next to that. Anybody want to come visit? Atomicon's coming up. Who's excited to come to Atomicon now?
I really hope you're able to make that work as far as like any of us showing up virtually, because as you can see, I'm in like a pseudo costume right now as far as my character goes. No, if we can do Atomicon, I'm showing up like full on. Like I have a white blazer in the mail right now on the way.
And I've got a nice, like, wicked nice, like, kind of business casual, like, totally red outfit, complete with, like, the fancy hat and everything. So, yeah, I'd love to show up kind of cosplaying as Samantha.
I would
Well,
love to do it as Sergeant Klein, but the beard stays.
Well, and I've even got my prop cigar too.
I don't know if you guys have ever watched On Patrol Live, David, but they have a law enforcement agency out in Hazen, Arkansas, with my favorite reality TV show star ever, Sheriff Rodney Taylor. Yes, there is a cop that I think is just amazing, and it is Sheriff Rodney Taylor. And if you ever see when he does the live shows and he looks at the camera, it is hilarious. But his partner and the sergeant has a beard that actually may be longer than yours. It's not white, but it is a beard. So obviously, you could be a cop with a beard, depending on how the agencies handle it.
All right, uniform it is.
So you could totally pull off the uniform. Now, before we go any further, I want to remind everybody, I did just mention Atomicon. Atomicon is going to be May 3rd and 4th at Trident Technical College Conference Center in North Charleston. We're going to have panels. We're also going to have guests like the Charleston Hanson Friends. They're going to be doing a Princess Bride Shadowcast. They did it last year. I didn't get to see it, but everybody said that it was amazing, and I was so jealous that I didn't get to see it. So I'm definitely going to see it this year. You're going to have, of course, the Carolina Storyteller is going to be there. I'm going to be doing panels on podcasting. I may be hosting a couple of game shows because I'm just a sucker for punishment, and I've always wanted to be a game show host. And more importantly, on top of everything else, we're going to have members of the cast of Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles there. We're going to be answering your questions. We're going to do a live table read there during Atomicon for the fans and for everybody who's there. Hopefully, the plan is that anybody that can't be there physically, we're going to have them there virtually through a method similar to this. We're going to actually be using our standard method that we use, which is Discord. And we're going to be able to have a virtual table read right there for everybody to see. So, Atomicon, May 3rd and 4th, come check out everything else that's going on, but most of all, come check out us because we're awesome. Right, guys?
Yeah.
Heck yeah, we are.
Yes, we are.
All righty. So, moving on from the Ape Apocalypse, I think we've figured out what we're going to do there. I want to discuss something with you guys, and this is actually going to take your opinion. So it turns out that the state of South Carolina currently has 4 major cryptids, and that's 3 major cryptids too many. Okay, so it turns out that in the northern western part of the state of South Carolina, Bigfoot has become a big thing again. We're being hunted by Bigfoot in South Carolina. I don't know what to do about that. Bigfoot's now out. But then when you get closer to the middle of South Carolina, we have a creature known as the Lizard Man. Now, if you don't know, the Lizard Man was sighted in 1986. He is a large bipedal reptilian creature that apparently rips up cars.
Did you do an episode on that?
did do an episode on the Lizard Man. He's like episode 7.
I actually think I've seen some things about that of like people like posting things of like these just gigantic gashes that look like claw
Mhm.
marks in like the side of their car, and it's like
So
what would have even made that?
well, that's just it. That was the Lizard Man. So the Lizard Man was at times believed to be an alligator, but he's been sighted um, at he's been cited, and Corey asked earlier about the AI apocalypse. Corey, we're not talking about the AI apocalypse, but yes, there are too many cryptids too. He's been cited, most importantly, at he's been cited. He was cited first in 1986, and he was seen 4 or 5 times. And then, like, he wasn't seen for a while, and then he was seen again in 1988, and then he was last seen in 1991. Now, people have claimed to have shot him, they've claimed to have killed him, they've claimed to have harmed him, but as far as everyone knows, the Lizard Man is still out there. So we have the Lizard Man, we have Bigfoot, we have 2 other cryptids, and I'm going to mention them, but they're not going to be the 2 that we talk about today. So I'm going to mention the other cryptids. So the first one is the Plaid Eye. Yes, I've done an episode on that.
Heard
I'm
that
sure
one.
you guys know. That's one that I actually fear. That's why I don't go in the woods late at night. The Plaid Eye, and we'll talk about the Plaid Eye later. But that is a Gullah Geechee legend, and that is centered right here where I'm sitting right now. So again, that's why I don't go in the woods at night. And then of course we have the not deer. Now, for those of you who have never seen one of these things, this is the creepiest looking thing I have ever seen, and it is a deer that does not look like a deer. I'm telling you, that is exactly what it is. There's actually, I don't know what it is. It looks like a deer, but it is not a deer. I'm telling you, it's not a deer, and I'm not the only one who thinks so. It's out next to my work site. And me and about 4 security officers that come past it every single night look at that thing and go, "What the hell is that? It's not a deer." So either it's some form of mutation or it is an
Skinwalker?
Appalachian legend. Close. It's kind of an in between. It's an
Hmm.
animal version of it.
Oh,
If you want, I can share my screen because I'm looking at it right now.
Oh God.
Yes, please do. Let's see.
Yeah. Oh shit. I just took a look myself.
Yeah, this is wild.
What did you search?
The
Not
not
deer.
deer.
Not deer
Yeah.
cryptid.
So see, that's it right there. Yeah, that thing right there. I see that thing at night as I'm driving around because my site where I work is surrounded by deer, and there is at least one of those out there. And you can understand.
You know what? I actually used to work at an airport overnights, and I'd have to do like regular sweeps of the grounds and stuff. And one of the things is like we had this gigantic like back shed way out back, and you have to drive back behind the airport to get there. And there was always deer out back there. And every single time I would drive by there at night, just the weirdest, creepiest feeling of the eyes from the woods. It's like something ain't right out there.
Now, yeah, and these things apparently they are an Appalachia legend. So they come down from the Appalachia. They everybody's like, oh no, they only exist in the Appalachian Mountains and at the base of the Appalachia. Well, guess what the low country of South Carolina is, people. If you look at the topographical map, the Appalachian Mountains, the actual mountain range, runs all the way out to right in between Charleston and Beaufort. I mean, that's literally how it runs. That's where the fault line runs. It's how all of it runs. That's why Charleston had an earthquake in 1906. That's why, all of this stuff happens. It's because we are basically the base of the Appalachian Mountains. So it makes sense that these things are all the way down in Charleston. And it is why, reason number 2, why I say, no, I'm not going out in the woods tonight. No, I'm just going to stay in and watch some Netflix or something.
That's an absolutely not.
Yeah, that's a nope.
And
So
my
the
dumb
reason
ass
I
go out and try to hunt it.
like the thing is that one of the key things of these not deer is that they're not afraid of people. In fact, they approach people regularly. So, if they're approaching people and they're not afraid of people and they're coming around people, that tells me there's something up and there's something a little wrong with them. I definitely don't want to run into something like that.
Just a little wrong.
The fact that they're not afraid of people, the fact that they attack people, the fact that they are supposedly have sharp teeth, which if you guys know anything about deer don't have sharp teeth. Deer have flat teeth because deer are, herbivores. Not deer. They are carnivores.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I'm good on that.
Right.
Billy
No,
talks
thank
about they will
you.
chase you up a tree. And yes, I have heard that they will chase you up a tree if they get to chasing you. They are
That's
it's strange
terrifying.
because they start off, and anybody that's seen them, all of the reports, they start off kind of like a deer as they regard you, you regard them. But unlike a deer, they don't run away. And it's like the more you spend, like if you kind of just go away, they kind of just go away. But it's like the longer you spend there, the closer they get to you until they start chasing you. And once they start chasing you, oh, it's on. They ain't stopping until you're treed or something. So yeah, we have so 4 cryptids, 4 in the state of South Carolina. I want to, as the Carolina storyteller, I want to identify the prime cryptid for the state of South Carolina. I want to know who is number 1. And in order to do that, I've got a 3-episode tournament. So this is actually going to go on for 3 episodes. But you guys are my judge and jury for episode 1 of the tournament. And we're going to take Bigfoot, the legendary Bigfoot. Everybody knows the legendary Bigfoot. And we're going to put him against the Lizard Man. And then next episode, it's going to be the Plaid Eye versus the Not Deer. And then whoever wins out of those 2 is going to come down to the final, and that will be defined as South Carolina's number 1 cryptid champion. They will we'll put out a trophy for them, and then run like hell in case they actually. But yes, today in the tournament, it is Bigfoot versus the Lizard Man. Who do you guys think is going to win this battle? Let's go with EC first.
So I had to go ahead and look it up. So for anybody who needs a visual on this, basically this is a man-sized Godzilla as far as his appearances go. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight. I'm going to still give this to Bigfoot. It's the OG, so he's got to get points for that. Actually, you know what? Since I'm already comparing him to Godzilla, I mean, Bigfoot would kind of be like a mini version of King Kong. We saw how that fight worked out, so I'm giving it to Bigfoot.
All right.
Now hold on. Now, if I recall correctly, we've seen Kong versus Godzilla, and I hate to say it, Kong didn't necessarily take the L, but he was down. I mean, granted, in the end, he was like, you know what, I'm going to stand down. I ain't going to fight this man no more. I'm going to take the L.
It's the reason why Godzilla is king of the monsters.
But, he did back down from Godzilla. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to take anything from Kong. Believe me, I am a Kong fan myself. But I have to admit, Godzilla had him in that one until Mechagodzilla showed up. And then Kong basically... Now, Mechagodzilla, Kong destroyed Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
That robot didn't have anything on Kong.
Now, I would have to watch the movie again. The way I remember it, like, it was kind of 1-on-1, if I remember correctly. But the one that King Kong got, he put them hands on him. But yeah, I'm giving it to the OG.
Yeah, like, so we're going. So you're giving it to Bigfoot. So we've got one for Bigfoot. David, let's get your opinion on this.
All right, so I'm kind of looking at it from a different standpoint. I know EC is looking at it more from, using the comparisons of Godzilla and King Kong, and using some classic cinema to weigh into his decision. Being a man who has studied science for a very long time, I'm going to go. Well, first off, let me say I'm giving it to Lizard Man, and here is why. You're looking at a cryptid that has the compression, the force behind a bite. Sharp claws, probably has the dexterity and agility that of an alligator or a snake or some reptilian creature. So it's going to be very quick, very fast, but it's going to have a very powerful bite, very strong claws. Bigfoot, yes, he is the OG. We love Bigfoot. I really feel Bigfoot is a very misunderstood creature. And I just feel that going up against something with that ferocity in comparison to what we know of Bigfoot, it's the Lizard Man. And my dogs agree as well.
Yes, give it up for the Lizard Man. Okay, we got one for the Lizard Man. And my vote's not counting in this. So I'm literally leaving it up to you guys. So Edel, we have one for Bigfoot, one for the Lizard Man. Your vote is going to break this tie. Everything depends on what you say right now. The fate of the state of South Carolina, the fate of the cryptids in the state of South Carolina depends on what you say. Edel.
All right. Well, I'm going to take it a little bit of a different route. Instead of it being like a one-on-one, like they're fighting each other, I'm going to go with the more sort of lore reasons and specifically general location. Typically, Bigfoot's usually seen out in the northern Midwest, up in like Montana and those mountains and those ranges, and also in the upper Appalachians. But if we're talking South Carolina, down much closer down toward like Florida and those bayou areas and stuff like that, I'm sorry, but I kind of got to give it up to the Lizard Man. Bigfoot is more of a sort of like a national kind of. I'm sorry, he's kind of more like a national phenomenon. But if we're picking like just something for the state, I got to go with the Lizard Man.
Sorry, I'm okay with being wrong, but I'm still going to die on that hill.
No. I give you that hill to die on. I'm not saying that there is anything wrong with choosing Bigfoot, but I think there is a general consensus that as far as South Carolina goes, if Bigfoot steps into the Lizard Man's swamp, the Lizard Man is gonna tax that ass.
That is a good point, though. So the setting is going to come into play, but
yeah, I mean that's my whole point is that most of South Carolina is hilly swamp. All right, you can find a swamp just about anywhere in South Carolina. This is the Lizard Man's turf. Bigfoot, he's mountains, he's woods, he's forest, he's out there where it's dry. He ain't in the Lizard Man's turf when he gets down this way. I mean, we've got a little bit of a mountainous area. We have some beautiful mountains up next to Greenville. I will admit, I've been there. One of the things that broke my heart about Hurricane Milton is there's this place called Pretty Place Chapel that exists on a mountain in, I can't remember the name of the mountain anymore now. I used to go to that mountain all the time. Anyway, Pretty Place Chapel, it's a beautiful mountain just outside of Greenville, and the chapel was was damaged and destroyed by Hurricane Milton. And it really saddened me because I have some great memories of my childhood. And we've got a comment here that is a very good point. Bigfoot stays away from people. Lizard Man doesn't care. Lizard Man will show up. So, Lizard Man's probably more dangerous to humans. And that is absolutely right. As far as the legend goes, the lizard man has come out and attacked humans, whereas Bigfoot, if he sees humans, he hauls butt. We don't hear a lot of Bigfoot attacks. So yes, that is absolutely correct. Thank you for saying that.
It's funny you brought that up because like earlier today, kind of unrelated, but we were watching like one of the episodes like that rebooted Scare Tactics, and they were doing a Bigfoot thing. So it's kind of funny you brought that up.
Yeah, you know, Bigfoot doesn't get enough media attention these days, and I think that's why he's coming to South Carolina, because South Carolina just it's becoming the new Florida. Horry County just had 2 emus run around on the loose. I know they've got tigers up there. I'm expecting them to break out any day next week. Who knows what's going to happen in Columbia? Danny Brown was arrested by a 4-year-old on Halloween and read his rights, and I'm just like, wow. For those of you that watch On Patrol Live, you'll know who Danny Brown is. And yes, so they did post a picture on Instagram of a little girl handcuffing Danny Brown. It is the most adorable thing you've ever seen. But yeah, so I feel like South Carolina is trying to become the new Florida. And with that happening, I can't wait for the South Carolina man stories that are about to pop up, because let me tell you something, Florida. Okay, you guys have had the championship belt for a long time. You've had this belt for a long time, but you ain't got nothing on some of these crazy rednecks around here. Let me tell you something. These rednecks around here are just straight up bonkers. All right, and South Carolina is ready to come to the show. Okay,
I will say, we got some wild ones in Ohio too. I will say that. I know a few years ago we had somebody. I think he was completely naked. He tried to come at the cops with a sword.
We've had that.
Wait a
Have
minute.
you ever heard of noodling?
Yes. Well, I'm originally from Northeast Ohio, Western Pennsylvania, so we actually used to go noodling in the creeks and everything like that in Western Pennsylvania. So, but back to what Issei said about the guy with the sword. Is that the same guy who swing at the cops screaming, "There could be only one"?
Okay, now see, that's not fair. A Highlander reference just takes it to a whole nother level.
That's hilarious.
Actually, no, I remember I was talking about that when it happened. I'm like, here's the question nobody's asking that I want to know. What kind of sword? Was it was it a movie replica? So if it was a replica, are we talking Blade? Are we talking about Highlander? And if it's Highlander, there's a lot of different ones to choose from. Like, that's the question that I was asking. What kind of sword did he have?
What if it was a video game replica? Okay. What if this dude is out there swinging around the Buster sword? Okay. Or, I've got Squall Leo Hart's Gunblade downstairs.
I have an authentic Mongolian scimitar. You want to see it?
And I mean, yeah, of course we want to see the scimitar. The Gunblade, the trigger action and everything works.
Oh, that's nice. If I ever get a replica sword, oh yeah. If there's a zombie apocalypse, you're set. You're good.
This is real. This has blood stains from actual battle on it.
Jeez.
That makes it worth more.
It's so cool.
It probably does. But yeah, if I was ever to actually get like a replica sword or anything, I want Glamdring, Gandalf's sword. I really want that one.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Orcrist, the one that Thorin had, that's a good one too. But to be fair, they were all in the lore, they were made together. But I want Gandalf's sword. Since
we're on the weirdly hypothetical, I want to pose a random question since we were talking about the monsters earlier. What's everybody's favorite giant monster? I'll go first. Mine is Mothra. I love her. She is great.
I'm just putting it out there. I am a huge kaiju movie fan, but when it comes down to giant monsters, I have to pick the best of the best. Even if they didn't play him out right in the movie, I'm going with King Kong. All day, every day.
So
Kong for the win.
even though even though I was using King Kong as a reference to give it to Bigfoot, he doesn't breathe fire, where Godzilla does.
Depending on the
So
version, yeah.
I'm going with the current version. Like, he not only breathes fire, he breathes blue fire. So I'm going with that one right now.
All right.
Not the one with Matthew McConaughey or Matthew Broderick. Not the one with Matthew Broderick.
Everybody hates that
one
movie.
is
I don't know why.
okay. Universally, that creature is known as Zilla. It is not Godzilla. It is Zilla. It is a different creature entirely. You can actually look it up. They don't count that as a Godzilla movie. That is a separate creature entirely. He's not part of the canon. Don't worry about it.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, he does not get in there. And actually, every iteration of Godzilla breathes some kind of fire.
Well, sometimes it's like pure radiation, but it's always heat.
Yeah, it's like blue flame light, something. They breathe something.
Yeah.
Godzilla's like dragons. They have multiple abilities. All right. Pitt, we're on to you, man.
Let's see. I've always been a huge Godzilla fan. But for some reason, I always loved Rodan.
Nice.
I don't know why. It's just maybe it was because I had a toy of it when I was a child, but I just loved Rodan. And even in these, the remakes that they've been doing, this whole continuation of the series, Rodan just coming out and just messing things up. So,
actually, you know what? I want to change my answer.
Rodan was
No. I'm going with the Sarlacc.
That's
Sarlacc.
Star Wars.
The Sarlacc. We're going all the way to Star Wars for
that's
the
such a
Sarlacc.
niche pick.
It takes what, like they said, 1,000 years to digest you.
Oh God.
All right, if you're going with the Sarlacc, then I'm going with the Kraken from Pirates of the Caribbean.
I'm sticking with Mothra. I love Mothra. I'm sorry. I know what I'm about.
I mean, I'm probably going to catch some flack from my gods and whatnot for not saying Fenrir or anything like that, but
Or Jormungandr.
See,
Jormungandr's a good one.
I almost went Jormungandr, but there hasn't really been a movie version of Jormungandr that does him justice. And
He's awesome in God of
wasn't
War.
really done justice. Yes, he is awesome in God of War. He is amazing in God of War. But there we have it. We now have everybody's pick for the giant cryptid, and the Lizard Man has won the first round of the South Carolina Cryptid Tournament. So in 2 weeks, come back here. We're going to have the next round of the South Carolina Cryptid Tournament. At the bottom of the thing, you can see where you can support this show, the Carolina Storyteller. You support this show. You support the Carolina Storyteller. You support Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles. Valmont the Black Raven Chronicles is going to be airing on December 1st everywhere, but you can listen to it right now by going to patreon.com/the Carolina Storyteller. Guys, last words, anything from you? Let's go with EC. Wait, you're that way.
Well, so first off, Sharon, thank you. I appreciate the co-sign there. But oh no, this was fun. I would definitely like to do this again. I still want to buy the book for like haunted places like here in my city, and maybe I can try to show up one time on your podcast, like on Spotify or whatever. I think that could be a lot of fun. But other than that, anybody watching, I do have a you can find me on a couple of different socials. As he mentioned earlier, me and Pitt, David, we also do a podcast together. It's the most random thing that you'll ever see. Like we even have a grab bag of things that we do just for random topics. We might do comic book stuff one day. We might talk about news and politics another day. It's literally just whatever.
It's fun to watch, though. I am a
Appreciate
fan.
that.
Edel, you're up.
I don't think I really have too much to add. I just encourage everybody to check out Valmont Black Raven Chronicles. There's a lot of really good talent there. I keep saying it, but Corey does absolutely amazing as the main character. He was a perfect pick for it. and we've all been working really, really hard on it. And I hope everybody enjoys the performance work that we've done.
Yeah, Corey has done an amazing job, and we are so lucky to have the cast and crew that we have on this show, and I'm so happy to be working with you guys and everybody else on this show. So you're absolutely right. I agree with you. And last but definitely not least, my man David, take
Yeah,
us home.
I appreciate being here. Thanks for having me. Just like everybody else said, can't reiterate enough. Valmont, Black Raven Chronicles, phenomenal cast, phenomenal crew, many talented people in so many ways. It is unreal. And I'm not just talking about the acting abilities, the voicing and everything. I'm talking about, I have seen some phenomenal art from cast members. I've seen some great things here and there. But yeah, definitely check it out on the Patreon. Definitely get with Jonathan here, Carolina Storyteller. Just check it out. Me and EC on Men Behind the Curtain podcast. You can catch us on YouTube and a few other streaming platforms. And yeah, again, talented crew. I'm very happy, very lucky that EC happens to be my best friend and mentioned this to me. And I got to go at it. So very happy. Looking forward to many multiple seasons to come and many multiple voices that I can actually do.
Yeah. And one tiny little last thing to add, our tech crew is also absolutely fantastic. Our sound design team they have done such a good job of cleaning it up and putting it all together and adding in all the ambiance and all the sounds and everything. It's great.
We really lucked up, and I'm not sure. I blame all of this on my technically the director, because I'm the producer. Let's face it, I'm not directing, I'm producing. Jacqueline Burns. I went to her when I was first starting, and I said, "You're hired. I need someone that can help me manage this. That person is you." And she brought me the talent. I brought in Marshawn, who with FBL Studios, who has done such a wonderful job of putting in everything together. And she has brought in Nick. Nick's brought in Paul Flowers. Eli, all of you guys. You all came from me bringing her on, and she brought everybody else on, and now we have this just amazing thing going on. I think the only people I'm responsible for are Corey, Josh, and Stevie.
All great talent, though.
Yeah,
I think Jackie brought us the rest, and I want to give a quick shout out to her for all the hard work that she did put into this show.
Jackie's great.
Yeah, and I got it was a really fortunate thing with that, and I mentioned this in the cast interview that we did, which is also on Patreon, y'all, by the way. So the way that Jackie found me, it was a mutual friend. Like a friend was doing a live on TikTok. She's working, I'm working, so we're just kind of talking, keeping each other busy, like filling dead air. Jackie got to hear me do a couple voices that I do, like Gollum and Peter Griffin. I don't know, I might have done one or the other, I'm not sure. And then Jackie was like, "Hey, do you want to, be part of this project?" Now, when she first said that, I was thinking it was just going to be a little thing. I didn't think it was going to be this big production that it is.
Oh, so God, it's huge now.
It is. So number one, it was total luck that me and Jackie even happened to be on that live at the same time. And then I was so surprised when I found out how big a thing it really was. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm really glad I did that.
When I wrote it, I did not think it was going to be this gigantic thing that it has turned into. Yeah, it's become a lot bigger than it was planning. But guys, we're running out of time for the show, so I want to say thank you to everybody that has tuned in. If the numbers are right, maybe there's 3 or 4 of you. I don't know what the numbers work, and I don't know who else will see this. So thank you guys for listening. I want to thank EC, Edel, and David for being here today and for being here with us. We'll be back in 2 weeks with round 2 of the South Carolina Cryptid Champions. I got a feeling that the Plaid Eye is going to take that one, but who knows? The Not Deer could come up from behind. We're just going to have to find out. and figure out who's going to be here with me next week on whatever the hell I'm going to name this show, because I haven't given it a name yet. That's going to be all for us today. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. So long.
Have a good one, y'all.
In the dark woods where shadows creep, stories rise as the campfire reaps. Jonathan voice a haunting thrill. With every tale he bends our will. Echoes whisper